With me here today, I have Darren Frame, who is the current Tullycarnet gaffer. Darren, how are you, mate? Keeping well?
I'm good, Gary. Yes, thanks for having me on the show.
No worries at all. I'm glad to get you on. I know you've been around amateur league a long time, so it's great to get you on and see if we can get your opinion on a few things.
Yeah, no worries.
How are you finding things post-COVID? Now we're back playing.
Oh, it's just good to be back. It's not only for senior football, for junior football too. Just to see it all back's great. I have two sons who play football, and they were driving me around a bit, and I was taking them out doing these training sessions, and now they're back in full flow. It gives me a bit of a break then too, you know. So it's just good to be back. It's great.
No, because that's the thing. Senior football, people use a year of their age, but kids are losing a full year of their age groups. Like they've just skipped their age group basically. I take it. Yeah.
Yeah, very true. Very true. No, it's. Who knows how long it's going to last? With obviously the cases rising and deaths and stuff rising too. But right at this present time, it's just good to be back. It's great. It's part of your life, you know. It's a big thing that's gone for your life. Football's massive part of everyone's lives, you know. So to have it back in full swing, it's great.
Yeah, mate. What I want to do is get to know you really, and let everybody who's listening get to know you. I want to start off with your early career as a footballer. Where did you start off?
Oh, early career. Well, back in my day, you didn't have your mini soccers and all that type of stuff. So I think I started off playing BB football.
Right.
I'm from South Belfast, so I'm originally from a village area.
Yeah.
So I went to BB around there and played for BB. From then, after BB time, I went to a place called Leverley Hall Youth Club over in East Belfast. I always had that connection with East Belfast. There was, I don't really know why, but I was travelling back and forth during a week, and it was very, very good. So about 3 seasons, about 3 years at Leverley Hall, different trips selected from World Cup teams and things like that.
Yeah.
From Leverley Hall, I went to St Andrews. Obviously, you know, St Andrews, very popular boys club. What can you say about them? It's unbelievable. So I think I had 3 years there. Until under 16s, and then obviously from your 16s you go to Linfield unless you went across the water. And then our team, 80% of the boys went across the water, and I wasn't one of them. So you go from your time as St Andrews, which you win leagues and you win cups every year. It's just part of the culture of the club. They win trophies. And then I went to Linfield under 16s, would it be? I didn't last too long at Linfield. It only lasted maybe 3/4 of a season. The reason being I didn't play too much. We had a very good team. My assistant now, who's with me, he's with me both clubs, playing the same team. He's a good player, Bash. Yeah. It was just, you know yourself, Irish league clubs is different from boys clubs. You really are just a number. It was the same back then as it is now. So I was there 3/4 of the year, and then I didn't play much, so I moved on. So then I went to Crusaders when about 16, 17, and that was amazing. Some great players, like Tim Mincy played in that team. My mate goalkeeper John Ross Bottom. My other assistant now, Lee Cassidy, played in that team. The dressing room was mental. It was crazy. That was the old pitch over at CB, the grass pitch. It wasn't very good, you know. So great times there. That was really my junior football.
You said you played St Andrews. I think you're about the 4th or 5th person I've had actually on the podcast who's played for St Andrews, and obviously it's such a well-known club. But you also said a lot of boys went across the water. Was there anyone you played with at St Andrews who would have made a decent career across the water?
Well, I'll start with my cousin Ryan McCann, who his older brother managed Hull. Yeah. Grant, that's my cousin. Yeah. Ryan got his move to. Ryan had numerous clubs to pick. He got his move to Rangers, was there for 4 or 5 years, a couple of loan spells, and then he came back and he signed for Linfield, done very well, won leagues, St Cups with Linfield. My mate Bo, who went to Wolves, there was about 3 or 4 went to Rangers, 3 or 4 Wolves. Smiler, Mark McGuinness went to Coventry, very good player, and there was other ones went across to different clubs, and I went to Linfield.
Yeah,
you know?
a lot of young boys like as well. St Andrews always had that connection. That it was basically a heavily scouted club, like. But you've named a lot of names there. You must have been a really successful junior side, and then even moving on to Linfield, you're moving Irish League, like. So it just goes to show the strength of the team.
Yeah, and then even going to Linfield too was obviously the biggest club in Northern Ireland, probably all of Ireland too. Even then too, they want to win trophies galore. Again, part of the culture. But it was a big step. You're going from a comfort zone up to play for Linfield, training at Midley Park. It's like literally you're in the corner from where I lived, walking distance, and some nights you're training the senior players there and you're starstruck in a sense, no. So it just didn't really happen for me at Linfield, even though it's only under 16s. But my time at Crusaders was very good. I really enjoyed that. Used to train and CV, walk across the Grove playing fields and do your training and so on. You know, it was good.
You feel you got more of like a change room atmosphere at Crusaders?
Oh yeah. It was a bit more relaxed. I think at that time the Crews were maybe playing championship. I think, if I remember back, a long time ago. But we're Linfield were obviously winning leagues and winning trophies. But it was more relaxed feeling too, playing for Crusaders. And boys still keep in touch with.
Moving on to civil service, it was your first senior club, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Moving on to civil service, what brought you to civil service? Was there a chance to stay at the Crews, McGrath, who's senior football, or
no,
was there somebody you knew brought to civil service?
There wasn't really. Why did I move from Crusaders? Again, I done really well the first 2 seasons, and then I've come to the third year, and I think the Crews went back up in the Premier League. On a strengthening well, and that third season, I wasn't, not that I wasn't enjoying it, I was enjoying it, training and playing here and there, but I wasn't playing regularly. And again, that was really my step out of the teen era, junior football in a sense, and then step into senior football. I got the move to civil service through a mate who actually played for him. He says, you know, the usual, you want to come along and play for us and so on, and I went there and I really enjoyed it. I was there for a season and a half or so, 2 seasons, and in the first year won 1B. And then after civil, I forget what happened. Civil, I got my move to East Belfast, where I had seven years there. Super club. Back then, it's different than it is now. It was just great. I won at East. I won 1A, and I won the Clarence Cup. Also faced the relegation too. Towards the end of the year, the 7th season at East Belfast was tough. The club was near folding, and there was players leaving left, right, and centre. And maybe I should have stayed on, supported the club, but I moved on also. And then from then I went to Knockbreda. The reason I went there was because we were paying £25 a week, so I just joined the rest of them.
Fair enough.
No, it's to say, but I got my move up there again through a mate. Come on up here. So if you aren't happy with Belfast, come up here. Went up there. Very good. We had a young club. Within that time, the time at Knockbreda, Hugh Sinclair Sinky came in. That was the transition time where quite a few players from the Shankill area came across. That was good, and Sinky changed that club so much.
Because they progressed from amateur league straight up.
All the players. Well, look where they are now, you know, and that was Sinky was a big part of that, you know, and obviously the players he brought across too. One regret maybe I have in football is maybe leaving Knockbreda. I left the year the one intermediate cup. They were playing in 1A, and that was maybe the hardest time to win it. That was the time Portadown got relegated from the Premier League. And I left. I think we played Derby away and beat them 4-0. It was a big win. And I just wasn't really enjoying that time because the transition was quite big from all the Shankill boys coming across. And they went on and won it. You know, and I actually went to the big Donegal Celtic in the final. Beat Portadown 1-0 in the semi-final. And I'm going, what have I done here? I've left, and they're playing against teams like Portadown, and the 3-0 down the final against DC, come back 3 each and beat on penalties. But fair play them, you know. But I left Knockbreda to go to Sirocco, where then I spent 11 years.
Your time at going back to your time at East Belfast, was there a connection there? You said earlier when you were at youth level, you had a connection East Belfast where you always felt comfortable going over and playing over there. Do you know a few boys from junior level you went and played with at East? Was that what kind of brought you there? And you spent 7 years there as well.
It wasn't really. It was by the time I signed for East Belfast, I met my wife now. Yeah. So I moved across from South Belfast to East Belfast when I was about 20. I've ever since I've been here, love this side of town too. So it was actually a guy called Gary Kelly who was managing and phoned me and said you fancy coming down, and I went down, and it was some great times down there. You know, it really is a good football club, and it's going from strength to strength. As you see now, they're one of the top amateur league clubs. But in my 7 years, obviously every club you get ups and downs, you know. So it was really, really good. Obviously winning 1A was fantastic, and then we beat Cumber in the final. Now in the final, I was injured at that. I got injured in the semi-final, so I wasn't fully fit to make the squad. But still got my medal and stuff. Played every round up until that. You know, was gutted that I didn't make the final, but the boys went and done a job and won it. And then we found it too tough getting their Premier.
Yeah.
You know, but it's amazing, really, really good time at East Belfast.
Yeah. Do you think that's what happened when in their Premier and then boys started to maybe move on or whatever?
Yeah, that's really it. And I'll say we got up to it, and there was some players went elsewhere, and you had at that time you're in Newington. That was, I remember our first game was my week game.
Yeah.
And we played them absolutely scabless. They were possibly, in my opinion, and Star, the best teams I've faced in amateur football.
Yeah, and then with that as well, you see it quite often. A lot of teams they go up and get a couple of bad results, even in intermediate level. You get it and they get a couple of bad results, and then players start to leave, and then
that's what happens, you know.
Even just staying afloat in those situations can be a good thing. So can.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you said, East have went from strength to strength since then. Moved to Knockbreda when you went to Knockbreda and you were playing under Sinky. But that. You said that you probably regret leaving Knockbreda. Was that the best time of your career playing ways that you enjoyed the most during your time there, do you think?
At Knockbreda?
At Knockbreda, yeah.
No, my best playing days were at Sirocco, to be honest. Right. Even though I didn't win nothing. I just fell in love with the place, and obviously came from being a player to captain to assistant manager, from assistant manager to manager. Well connected in the club. But obviously things happen in football, and you move on, you know.
Yeah, you had 11 years. Was 11 years in total? Seeing you had Sirocco,
yeah. 11 years.
How many years was that as a player then and captain?
I was manager for three and a half years. 2 years an assistant. So about six, 7 seasons playing. I was captain for 2 seasons. Yeah. The reason I stopped playing is because I broke my ankle. Up at Welling Rec. It was actually New Year's second midweek game, a Tuesday night, and we rushed up in the traffic and stuff, and we were late, and preparations weren't very good, and didn't warm up properly on the pitch. 15 minutes in, and I got snapped. You know, and that was me really done.
Yeah.
Well, not my call, the wife's call, you know.
At that stage, what age were you? Because you had a decent career. Like
I was 33. I was 33, and I wish I was still playing, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know.
But say, like you said, if somebody get an injury like that in your mid-30s, sometimes it can be a bit hard to kind of even think about coming back from it.
Yeah, your recovery time's longer, and obviously you've got a job and you've got your family support. Now, the club was good to me. They've done very well for me, but I was out of work for a wee while, and work was good to me too. You know, it was in a cast for weeks, and that was really it. But I've played wee bits and pieces even for the second team and stuff, if they were short numbers, you know, not really for the first team at level no more, but I do miss playing, to be totally honest.
Yeah, no, it's one of them things as well where when you stop playing, you either can walk away completely, but you went straight into coaching as well, assistant manager. Was there a break or delay there?
No, there actually wasn't. Well, whenever I come back from recovery, the club says, like, do you want to come back playing, or what kind of role do you want? Committee member? I said, no, that's not for me. I'm a football man, so unfortunately I couldn't play. I was me more or less retired. Just that fear factor in case something does happen again, and you know yourself. So from then I was offered a coaching role under Alan Crooks. He was managing Sirocco, pro license coach, super coach, top coach. And I jumped at it because that was me in, you know, it's really quick. There was me, Crooksy and Jamie Jamson, who's the Everglades and stuff, you know, and that was really me. That was my foot in the coaching side of things, then just progressed from then. So I had 1 year under Crooksy, and Crooksy got us moved to Crusaders, where he's still there as the reserve team manager. And then Tommy Kincaid came in, who played under Tom Eddie's Belfast. Yeah. He came in, and I had 2 years assistant under Tommy, learned so much. Great, the best manager I played under. Yeah. My 10 days. So the third year, then Tommy resigned, and I got a job.
Right. And were you happy enough in it? You've done your time. Obviously, you had a long enough career that you could have walked straight into a management job, but you've done your time under good coaches there, like that.
Yeah,
learn
I learned so much.
Management and coaching, yeah.
Yeah, I learned so much. Coaching side of things, Crooksy was unbelievable coach, pro license coach. Tommy's spell, I learned so much in terms of how to conduct yourself and how to talk in a dressing room, because Tommy was unbelievable talking. He was getting a wee bit on. So I done most of the coaching under Tommy, and he done bits and pieces, but he was obviously getting on a wee bit in life, you know. But in the dressing room, under Crooksy and Tommy, I've learned so much. Yeah, and it's helped me progress as a manager myself.
Yeah. Do you think it was an easy transition in coming in? Like, because sometimes as an assistant or a coach, you still have a connection to the players, or did you feel it was easy enough transition straight into
management? The transition was a gift. Really was a gift, to be totally honest, because I had to go from no experience and jump right into a manager's job nowadays. I think it'd be difficult, really hard. But to have 3 years under your belt, learning coaching ways and learning how to speak properly to players and your man management skills and things like that. Yeah. Excuse me. I learned so much, so that was quite easy to go in, and we've done really well. Obviously, we took over. Our first season we took over, we got the Clarence Cup final. Fell short. Crumlin Star beat us 3-0. But did well actually in the night. Just a few.
What league were you in? It was 1A then or 1B? Was it?
Sorry, I'll go back to the second year of Tommy's spell. So the second year of his spell, we got promoted from 1B.
Yes.
Into 1A.
Into 1A, yeah.
We took over from in 1A. That was the first season. 1A we took over.
Yeah.
And then we got to the Clarence Cup final, which was on your first season. You know, it's to get that final anytime, Gary. It's amazing. You know.
I was going to say that, but
for years and years.
And then not just that, the Clarence Cup obviously you're 1A side, so you've all the Premier sides to get past before you can even get to a final, and then you're meeting Crumlin Star, which is no easy task. Like
no, exactly. We beat East Belfast in the semi-final of Seaview. I went to penalties actually, and then obviously we faced two of the best teams on league football at the minute in the semi-final and final, you know. And then but we just fell short. And then the second season, obviously in the same year, we got to the Steeven Sons Cup final, which is it's everyone's dream, to be totally honest. If you pick a cup final, it'd be at the Steeven Sons, just because it's Christmas Day and so on. Didn't go down too well in the house when I told the wife, you know. But it's once in a lifetime. It's never going to happen again. You know, well, you never know, but it's unlikely it might not happen again. So that was amazing. Totally amazing.
Once again, but it's an amazing achievement for an amateur league team to get the Steeven Sons. But you just beat some big sides on the way to that final as well, didn't you?
Well, our first game played Crew, and that was the time when the transition was from the Cliftonville players left. The older generation
stuff, etc.
Yeah, boys, it was like the first game was like playing a Cliftonville select team.
Yeah.
So we actually went up there and we were completely depleted. It was never a target to go far in the Steeven Sons, just go out and give it a go. And if we get through, we get through. We win the game 3-1. And then the second game we went to Colin Valley, up to Colin Valley, which is never easy to go. You know yourself. We beat them 1-0. I think the third game was Abbey Villa, I think it was, maybe. It was Abbey Villa, beat them 2-0. We played Lauren Tech in the next round, beat them 2-0, and that's us in the quarters. So I remember after that game, we were sitting in the club and the draw was being made, and then we drew Glentoran reserves, who's always going to be tough. They're all young players, technically very, very good players. And the crowd that day was, because it was obviously a derby game, you know.
Yeah, I was going to say,
it was massive crowd, and we were underdogs. And we just turned up and just performed, and we beat them in 3-1, which was massively, really, really a big win. So I'm back down the club, usually everyone cheerful and sitting watching the BBC All-Star, and out comes Crumlin Star. And we went, you can't beat these ones, you know. We won one from the last game too. That was probably one of the best nights I've ever had. The semi-final, Steeven Sons. We had a bit of a game plan because Star played Rosemount on the Wednesday, I think it was previous, in one of the cups. And it went to penalties. So we had a bit of a game plan to get them early on, and we did. We scored a goal within a few minutes. It was something like that, 5 minutes, something like that, to believe. Obviously, in the second half, they came out and up the gears and had a good go at us. But we got the job done. We took them to penalties and beat them in penalties, which was massive to beat them. So they're a great team. They're a great, brilliant football team.
It was a big shock at the time, I think, for everybody, because Sirocco Works, in terms of Steeven Sons, we considered a small club, and Crumlin Star considered one of the favourites. And then after getting beaten in the Clarence Cup final 3-0, I think most people, probably Crumlin Star themselves, thought it was going to be a handy one. It was probably you were probably considered the easiest draw going into that semi-final, I think, that year.
Yes.
Looking back at it, and then to go and beat Crumlin Star in penalties as well was a big shock.
Well, leading up to it, there was a wee bit of banter on Facebook. I think it was Facebook or something. I was seeing all these different comments. It's going to be easy walkover, so it's going to be like a Clarence Cup final. But that just adds fuel to the fire, you know. And you enjoy things like that. You just look at it and go, just smile, and it's part of your game plan. Your team talks quite easy when you see things like that. Yeah. But we turned up on the night, and we ran our socks off that night. Every one to 14 players, 1 to 16 maybe, ran their socks off.
Yeah. Big thing. And then going into the final, then the big day, Christmas Day, how do you think it's performed on the day?
In general play, we've done well. I've watched the game back many times and sat here and cried in the house what we do wrong, what you know yourself. But I think in general play, we've done okay. At times, maybe we're played too much, but when you get to that stage and you make mistakes, you get punished, especially against a team like East Belfast.
Yeah,
that's when Danny was there. Danny purpose scored. Cocky got 2 goals, and Danny got the header towards the end of the game. But you can't get boys that got space in the pitch, and obviously our big keeper, Big Neil, has had better games. So again, now he's playing for Crusaders first team. He got his move to Cruise. But I thought we performed okay, but didn't really cause many problems. But you just can't make mistakes in a big stage, like, you know.
Yeah. It was probably just a wee step too far when you're playing.
It was, yeah. They were
Crumlin Star and East Belfast back to back.
Yeah, and we all know each other. East Belfast and Sirocco will live. You're just all mates outside of football too, and we all know the coaching staff. And Big Scott lives not too far from me here, but they prepared better than us. Now we had a few sessions over at Seaview to get used to pitch and things like that, you know, and get the surroundings. But I think they train nearly every night, you know, and when you hear things like that, you go, you know what, that's maybe the difference.
It's a lot of dedication, especially for amateur football, like, so it is, and maybe Steeven Sons final, but still 2 amateur league clubs, like, it's a lot of dedication. So it is. And then obviously the difference there as well is you have a striker who bangs in many goals a season.
Well, that's it.
It's always a big danger, like, so it is.
Yeah.
In terms of like the cups, then did you must have had an aim as well, getting promoted at the time, and do you think the cups kind of like helped you or hindered you in terms of promotion, or how did your league sort of performances go?
Well, that season we got to the Steeven Sons. Obviously, it's played Christmas. We were I think we were unbeaten up into it, or really going well. And you know yourself, you gotta weigh things up, and you go yourself. When you get to a certain stage of Steeven Sons, we had a chance here of going all the way, and do you put the league in the back burner, or do you keep going, because the squad wasn't really big. So we were going really well, and we went, no, we'll just have a go. Everything we'll play, we'll just try and win games, and we'll have a go at it. So we did, and the Steeven Sons dented us, killed us big time, because the following game after the Christmas break was Clarence Cup game against what do you call it? Ben Mulligan, is it? Ben Mulligan? And they beat us at home. And I don't think we won a match until early February. It was just the Steeven Sons defeat just ripped the heart out of us, killed us. So if we went, maybe that season, if I didn't get the final, we were totally focused on maybe challenging for 1A, and 1A is always a tough league. It's really, really tough league. But the Steeven Sons just ripped the heart out of us, but didn't really. The rest of the season, I think we finished maybe 5th or something that year, where we should have done better in fairness, because at the start we really started really well, But it hurt us big time, the Steeven Sons fan.
That's the thing about the Steeven Sons as well. Obviously, somebody has to lose it, and somebody obviously wins it. But when it comes to being on Christmas Day halfway through a season, and any other cup final apart from the Steeven Sons and the Border Cup, you win. You win them or lose them at the end of the season, and then you have 4 or 5 weeks off to lick your wounds, get mentally recharged, to go again.
True.
A few days after the defeat in the Steeven Sons, you're straight into the Clarence Cup match, and it's just it's a hard thing to come from. Like,
it is, because it was such a big the whole build up to the Steeven Sons final was amazing. I just felt like a pro, and like out doing interviews and photo shoots and all this, and you just got a taste for it. You want to do it again, but when you get a big occasion in the Steeven Sons, you lose it. It really, really hurts all the players. I would say the players are still hurting from it, and I know players, people at the club they always come across on YouTube and watch a match back and go, what if, but it wasn't a big deal. Listen, you move on from it.
And
move on,
it's football, really. Like, that's why we stay in it, but as well, because you're hoping you get another night or a day like that again next few hours.
You just gotta believe. You always believe in yourself, and you always believe you can get them occasions again, and hopefully one day it can.
Yeah, and then after that season, then you finished that with 5th, and then you had another year at Sirocco Works, was it? Yeah.
Yes, the following year didn't go too good, because for me, even though we came runner-up in the Steeven Sons, that's being successful. If you get yourself, guy, if you get the cup final, it's regardless of when I lose, it's definitely a success. So people start coming in looking for your players. Obviously, you wanna progress. And we had a good chat with the committee about pushing the club forward and what can we do. And there wasn't much resources at Sirocco, and I'll be honest with you, and that people think, because you get the Steeven Sons, they're paying this, they're paying that. That wasn't the case. So we lost a few players the following season. And unfortunately, I couldn't. I think I brought a couple in, but not enough to push us up. So we had a really, really difficult year. We ended up having to bring the better second team players up in the first team, and we struggled, to be totally honest, we struggled that season. It was tough.
It's hard as well, because you're not considered one of the bigger clubs, and then if boys are coming in, and if you said earlier about resources, a lot of teams have a lot of money at the moment, so if boys are getting offered a few quid, and it helps them financially, you can't blame them really at times as well.
You can't blame them too, but when you're some of your players are going, maybe travelling from here to Lisburn or to Murray or maybe to Bangor, and they're getting 30 or 40 pounds, you tell them, like, listen, this you don't even get a pint of this. This is
your petrol back and forth.
I suppose it's just, and we all say the same thing. It's maybe an ego boost, and tell their mates, I'm getting this and I'm getting that, but in reality, it doesn't even cover your fuel. Exactly. But the players, yourself, and everyone's man said, nowadays it's really about getting paid. Let's be honest. When you play in it, maybe I know junior teams even pay too. Well, so I'm here, and possibly they do. Well, it's true or false, but obviously you're 1A teams and your premier teams. There's a lot of clubs do pay. So they will come in and offer your player X amount of money, and your player maybe wants to go and challenge or try and win a trophy, and you can't stop them. it's just hard to stop. So on the flip side of that, we didn't really strengthen too much that year. In third season, it was a real struggle.
Yeah, it's hard then as well because you're a team which is so close to winning something, and then it's a few pieces missing. So you still struggle a wee bit. Then come the end of the season, was that the year it finished COVID early? Was it COVID season?
That was a season. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you had basically, they will have a season next year. They will not have a season for a year there. So, how did you find that sort of break with the squad? Was there a lot of people told me their squads have went like they've gained 6 players and then they haven't played a game, and then 3 months later they've lost 6 players, and then before you know it, they're 2 different teams. You've had 2 different teams in a year without a game.
During all this lockdown and the COVID, we actually got players back, and we were looking good again. And so it was stop start. So you're playing a game here and you're not playing a game, and it's just dreadful, and no change rooms, all that carry on stand on the side of pitches and just rubbish. It's not football at all. So it didn't look too bad, but in the end, when you put so much effort in the football club, me and my backroom staff didn't miss training, fully committed, and all you expect a wee better in return. And towards the end, just when you don't enjoy something, when it gets to the stage, Gary, where you're not enjoying things, then you say to yourself, it's time to move on. And that's just what happened. And I'm not going into it too much, but that's what happened in Sirocco. It's just sometimes you put football ahead of your family, and that happens with everyone. It's not the case, it shouldn't happen, but it does happen. And all you ask for is a bit of respect back. And towards the end there, it didn't happen. So we just made a decision to step down for the best of the club.
Yeah, at that stage then you had a few years of management. Were you thinking then maybe take a break, or were you looking to get back in straight away? Obviously the opportunity arose to go to Tullycarnet, but were you thinking about taking a break before that opportunity arose, or?
To be honest, I don't really know. It was just there was a massive decision, because even though you're part of a club and you're a club man, you can still walk away. It's easy for players just to remain there you be there for years. But when you're a manager and you put up a X amount of rubbish, it was so difficult to leave that club, to be honest. It was heartbreaking. So I had maybe 2 weeks of a break. Me and a few of my staff going to watch different matches, and then I was approached. I met them very rap. They phoned me. They were first to call me. So I went and met them and was offered a job on the spot, but it just didn't feel right. I know it's a good club and I've been going there for years too. It just didn't feel right, and it has to feel right, And then I had numerous calls from Tullycarnet. So I met them and it felt right. For me, it doesn't matter what. It was no issue me dropping down to 2 leagues. That's not me. This big ego person. We have to be managing the Premier, which I do. And the reason I'm at Tullycarnet now is their ambitions meet 9. They're a community club, well supported. They've 10 or 11 teams. It works for my family life too. It was similar to Sirocco's, where it has to work around your family. So it fits in with that mold too. And their club want to be in 1C, and they want to be in the Premier. That's the be all and all of it. They want to be like your Crumlin Stars, your Immaculatas, your East Belfast community clubs who went from the bottom right up to the top. So when I heard them say that, I went, good enough for me. Yeah,
and then like you said earlier, players can come and go from different clubs. They don't have to have a connection to their club. They put a shirt on, they wear a shirt, but they do come and go. But you know as well as I do, when you're managing or coaching a team, even though you try and stay away from anything outside of that managing coaching, you end up getting ingrained in a club and find yourself with a lot of different roles. So walking away from Sirocco must have obviously been tough, but you see a lot of similarities in the enjoyment you had in Sirocco and Tullycarnet. I take it, the fact it's a community club and everyone is ambitious, and you feel like you've got a good vibe from them straight away as soon as you met up with them.
No, it's been great so far. On our 3 weeks or so, we always when I step down, my backroom staff, who's actually my mates too, people I can trust. That's what you need at football clubs, regardless of your ability or what your knowledge is. People you can trust. So they could, my staff could have went on and managed Sirocco. Yeah. Maybe had offers, I'm not too sure, but they stood down with me and they've came across too. So they're mates, they're loyal, they're trustworthy. So they're just great guys, really, really good guys. So we've all fit in really well. We worked for 3 weeks, and again the translations from Sirocco to Tullycarnet was easy because we actually, when Sirocco come to train on dark nights, we're in a half each. So it's Tullycarnet one half and Sirocco the other half. So maybe
I thought that would be harder.
Maybe play a match some night.
I thought it'd be harder. You can't get away.
No, can't get away from them. I'm actually still involved in the club. I coach the 07s, the Sirocco 07s, so I'm still involved.
Right. Brilliant.
You know, so I enjoy that side of things too. My son plays the 07s.
Yeah.
So I'm still there, but back to Tullycarnet, the transition's been quite easy, to be honest. We all knew each other, you know. Again, they're in East Belfast clubs, so and they're a good bunch, real good bunch. And they are very, very ambitious.
Yeah, we see my knowledge of Tullycarnet is from coming through 2A. They played for a few years in 2A against us, and the year they got promoted from 2A, they were quite an aging team. So most teams come out of 2A and you expect them to go and do really well in 1C. And that hasn't worked for Tullycarnet the last couple of years, probably because there was a lot of boys coming to the end of their career and their main aim was to get out of 2A. So you're coming in the club and obviously to progress, you're going to have to make signings, you're going to have to
of course,
strengthen the squad. How have you found doing that? Or what did you find the squad was it like when you came in originally?
Well, I've done my homework, obviously. The squad was good. It was good. It could be better. And I'll go back to what you said about aging. Nothing's changed. Them boys are still playing.
Right.
My goalkeeper, Andy McDonald, he's playing the Irish League level.
Yeah.
He's 44. He's still playing. You've Jimmy McElhaga. You might know the Irish League level. 45, still playing, and he's been immense. And I just can't get him out of the team. Well, I want to bring the age down, but I can't get him out because he's playing so well. And you've got Paul Davies, who's 44, 45, in out the team. Immense. But them boys train twice a week, every week. It's frightening. Just love playing football. Now, in terms of signing players, I've signed 3 players so far. And the 3 players I've tried to sign for Sirocco and couldn't get them. Yeah. You know, 3 of them have mates at Tullycarnet, which is easier. You know yourself nowadays, players want to play with mates. So the 3 players I've brought in are quality players. Big Michael Edgar, who I got from Bangor. Well, previously at Ed McGee. I signed last week there, Adam Bolton, who Bolton, you might know he played.
He was St James's for me, was he as well? Yeah.
Yeah, I got Bolton in, and then I brought Jamie Black back. He was at the club. Won trophies to Tullycarnet, and then he signed for first Bangor, so I brought him back. Yeah. So them 3 make a big difference, to be honest. But not them 3 players, Gary. The players there's some quality players there. There really is. You know,
but that's a good thing as well. Like you're saying, them boys who want to play for the club because they have a connection and they have friends there. So sometimes that's an easy way to gel players in, and then that's the way you develop a change room. Also, really having boys who want to be there because they want to play with and they want to play with their mates, and they see that people in the change room as their mates. That helps massively. I feel amateur level.
That's the way it's going. That's the way football's going. You know, it's like maybe offering someone a few pounds and they go, no, I'm staying here because my mates are here. Yeah. That's the way it's going. But them 3 signings, we bit of coaching obviously, but it was quite easy, to be honest, because of they live locally. We live too far from Tullycarnet area, and they've got friends there. Yeah. So they're quality signs.
Obviously, it's early days in the season, but do you have any aims for a season? Or is you just trying to see if you can progress week on week?
Yeah. Well, I told them, obviously, I told the boys in the first 2 training sessions before I played Green Island. We had a good chat. We met earlier in the Green Island game, had a good chat about, usually, you know yourself, every year you want to set these targets and personal targets and stuff. And I did every year down in Sirocco too. I told the boys, well, we're only through the doors, so it's going to take us weeks. They didn't really have much of a pre-season.
Yeah.
So it's going to take us weeks for us to stamp our mark on things and do things how we do things. And it's happening now. It's because you've seen a massive difference from the Grenadian game where we've thumped 6-1. And we're in the game now up until about 70 minutes. It was 3-1. 2 was penalties, famous. And then last 20 minutes, the legs went and weren't fit, and we're getting outplayed, getting pulled out of our shape and stuff, and they got another 3 goals. Now they're a good side. They're equipped to be a Premier team. They're a good side. So since the Grenadian game, it's totally night and day. We played after Dunloy. Played Dunloy in the Irish Cup. It was a good side. Yeah. They scored at 89th minute. They beat us 2-1. We played Glebe away, and the Steeven Sons took in the penalties. Yeah. We played Shorts in between. Beat them 2-1, and we played Bangor Swifts on Saturday and beat them 2-1. So we've changed things how we do things and put our stamp in. And to be totally honest, the players are like sponges. When you talk, listen. That's the big thing. When you talk, they listen, and they're taking things on board. And we've done a bit of shaping training and done set pieces and so on, so they know things. But we've seen a massive difference from the first game until now. It's night and day. Yeah,
and then like you said there, this Grenadian game, obviously you're coming in not much of a pre-season. It's a tough way to start the season, but just following your results, I could see there was progression there right away. And they get an early progression, and that means then the players are going to buy into what you're trying to do, which helps massively.
Yeah, they are. They really are.
In terms of 1C as well, it's got stronger the last couple of years. Big time. Green Island obviously a strong side. The thing is, this year a lot of teams feel hard done by about not getting promoted last year.
Yeah.
And the likes of Green Island and St Albert Plunkett, who were close last year, and any other team that was up near the top of 1C, they're all feeling they've something to prove this year, which makes it harder, because then you have not only the teams who feel they should have got promoted, but teams who think we can get promoted this year. We're a good side, and it makes every league competitive. But 1C seems to be one of the most competitive in the amateur league, I feel like, this year.
Yeah, well, I don't really know much about 1C, to be totally honest. I've done a lot of homework, obviously, on it, and teams who strengthen and who haven't strengthened. So your main teams would be maybe Green Island. Plunkett's always a strong team, I believe. Haven't really never faced them, but Hollywood, I believe, strengthened. And you've got your Woodville, who's always a hard team to play against, isn't it? So, and then you've got your derby games. You've got to win your Shorts and your Bloomfield game. We've beat Shorts already, so it's tough. I'm still learning about it and trying to do a wee bit of homework on it. You hear people saying about 1C, it's 1C's this and 1C's that. It's crap. No, it's actually not. There's a lot of good players on it. That's definitely not. You know, that's people saying it from the outside, looking in. But when you're in on the games we have played, even Shorts, we're a decent side, a lot of pace. Grenadians just well structured and great shape, and they're well drilled. They're a good side. And then we play Woodville on Saturday here. So it's a good league, no doubt about it. This year it's not about Tullycarnet coming up. If we can challenge, and there's a squad right now, we're maybe 2 players away from doing that. We'll see. We'll give it a go. I told the players we'll just take each game as it comes. There's no target set. We targets. I won't tell no one. You know, I'd like to get maybe a player in the amateur league squad, things like that. And there's players are getting that. Believe me, there's some good players there. But I won't tell the players too much. But it'll be a fun season if I can keep them boys together and continue to add to it. You know, there's a big difference in age gap. There's my son plays there. My son plays for under 18s.
Right.
And I would go and match him on Saturdays. And there's 2 wee twins play for him. 16.
Yeah.
And when I went in, I said, them 2 kids are good enough to play first team. So I put them in the first team. I told them all, I said, boys, you were good enough to play in this team, you'll play. Them 2 got a chance, and they're now regulars in the team.
Right.
They're frightening. I'm telling you, them 2 boys are frightening. They're 2 great kids. And again, they're like sponges. When you speak to them, they're just zoned. They're totally zoned into what you're saying to them. They're a joy to coach. So there's a you're going from 16 to you're 45, so there's a big age gap, you know.
Could be a granda, never made it.
I know, but no, listen, Gary, things is going well, and long may it continue.
Yeah. I would like to ask a couple of questions now, just about your career. First of all, playing or coaching, who's been your toughest opponent you've ever had? It can be a player or a team as well. So anyone you played against, any team you played against, any team or player you coached against?
Playing, always found it tough playing against Rough Firm.
Yeah.
Always had good battles. There was a boy who played Granda. No Granda. You heard him? I think he plays for Rough Firm.
Yeah.
He was when my older years, I dropped back and played centre back for Sirocco, and Granda was one of them strikers, just played on the shoulder, and you just couldn't get near him. But Rough Firm was always a team, always a battle, always Rough Firm when it, Sirocco when it, always a winner, and it was just a battle up at the Diamond or else down Dixon. It was just a great game to be involved in.
Yeah, no, so, I remember Granda from my 2A days, so I do as well. He was a good player, and then Hedger was a good player as well.
Boys, big Stevie, Logan, all great guys.
Yeah.
Good lads.
And then, what would be your worst and best moment in football?
My worst moment was breaking my ankle at 33, and I was really enjoying football. Really loving football. That was my worst. That was me retired then after that. The best moment was definitely getting the Steeven Sons final.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah, and it wasn't your worst moment losing it then. It's like your best moment.
No,
taking it.
Just being there and getting there, and interviews and photo shoots, and the whole 2 weeks prior building up to it was amazing. It was great. Yeah. So regardless of the result, just I went every year with my dad to watch the final, and always said I'd love to be involved in some capacity, playing, coaching, managing, whatever, doing something. And then we got there, so that was kind of a dream come true, to be totally honest.
Yeah. If you had to pick, I used to ask people, you pick the best players you played with or coached, but people kept naming 5 or 6 players. So if you could name me a 5-a-side team played with or coached, either or, who would you have?
5-a-side team. Okay, I like to have good balance. So goalkeeper, Neil Shields, the goalkeeper who played for us, is now our first team member at Crusaders, was amazing. Yeah. But in terms of 5-a-side, for example, say Northern Ireland are playing and we train 8 to 9, you try to be big play ball and just done 5-a-side, so you're back for the match. So Sirocco's second team goalkeeper, Phil Reid, would be my keeper, because I always picked teams, so I was always the Phil team. You just couldn't score. If you're in Phil's team, you won. He was unbelievable on 5-a-side, frightening goalkeeper. And again, he could play first team, but he's just the Sirocco second team manager or second team goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So he would be my keeper. The two defenders, hard. My big mate, again, Sirocco player, Mark McLeod.
Yeah.
He plays for the NI Masters team.
Yeah.
I played beside him for years. Lethal, absolutely brilliant. He was always behind you. If you went to win the ball you missed the ball, he was always behind it. Great player. And the other player who only played with briefly until I broke my ankle, but he's now the captain of Sirocco, is Carl McConville.
Yeah.
Just different level. He's one of the ones who, third year managing, went on that he got his move in that breeder. And then I got him back finally. Carl's always one of these ones. You've got these players who come and go, and he was one of the players come and go. So he's leader in the pitch too. He was my captain too. So 2 defenders would be Mark McLeod and Carl McConville. Midfield players. So let me play with so many good ones. Midfield players. I would put in my brother-in-law, who's actually he's a head of Tullycarnet. Right. Colin Colliger.
Yeah.
Colin played Irish League level 2. He helped me out the first couple of games of the season too. He's just class, brilliant player, super player. So I put Colin in there. Midfield player. There's so many.
It's hard to even word, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. Someone's going to say something about it, but let's see there. I would probably go with John Douglas.
Yeah.
John Douglas played for Rangers for 4 or 5 seasons, played for Linfield. He's now assistant manager at Bangor under Fino. Dougie was the class act. He was lethal, brilliant.
Yeah.
So I put Dougie and Colin in midfield. Centre forward, played with some great ones. Mucker was at Sirocco, end of his career, Darren Frame. Curtis Hanna was a great player for us. Lewis Urban, great player, both just goal scorers. But I'll put in Marty Hunter. The Marty Hunter's still playing away. He's playing for Abbey Villa Seconds at the minute. He was probably actually, you might ask this question also, but he was probably the best player I've played with.
Right.
Managing or playing and coaching too, Marty Hunter was frightening.
Yeah.
And he wore these big knee braces around his knees. He played for Glentoran. He was the first team player at Glentoran for years.
Yeah.
And he could hardly train, he could hardly move before pre-game. Using bits after a game, seeing a pitch, unbelievable.
Yeah.
So good.
Still playing.
I'm near sure he's playing for Abbey Villa Seconds. Yeah. He lives down that direction, so he's just a gentleman too.
Yeah. Mate, that's everything. I was gonna ask you some questions from Facebook, but I think your mates hijacked it, and I don't know what was safe to ask or what's not safe to ask.
Yes, I've seen them. You're better not asking them questions.
I've seen stuff about a broken toilet and something else, and was it new shoes or something? And I was like, I don't know what's like. I'm going to ask these questions, and they're going to sound so stupid.
That's all the Sirocco players, by the way.
All waiting up. Mate, thanks very much for doing this. I really appreciate it, and I do wish you best of luck with Tullycarnet. I hope all goes well. It's a very good club. Like anytime we played against them before, like they were always great competitive games, and anytime we went over there, we were always treated very well. We respect and shook hands after the game, and I've always had a lot of respect for them as a club. So I really do hope Tullycarnet do well. Well, obviously you as gaffer as well. And then I hope you get back that Steeven Sons final at some point.
Well, up and east. Any final, guy, I don't care what final it is. It's just as long as we get that final.
Happy enough?
Happy enough. Doesn't matter what it is.
Mate, thanks very much once again. The podcast is sponsored by Jumbo Park Racecourse this week, and once again, I'd like to thank Darren Frame for his time, and we'll be back again with an episode next week, folks.